And welcome again tonight to ladies, gentlemen, gentle ladies, non-gentle ladies, to another Thursday night Chair League match. And we'll be watching first Rage Patrol take on Shift Delete tonight. And I'm here, as always, with my co-caster, New Type. How you doing there, New Type?
Doing pretty well. You know, I've got the dinner's done. I'm all packed in. I'm ready to go, and it's Chair League time. So, you know, this week we're at Towers of Doom, the ever so decisive Towers of Doom. The only map in the current map rotation where the heroes cannot directly affect the core. They cannot, directly assault the core or damage the core. The core has to be defeated via various map objectives, either the boss, the various merc camps, or most commonly the altars, which spawn in at least one of 4 places throughout the entire map. And as everyone starts filtering in here, hello there, Twitch chat. Always lovely to see you all. We'll keep you going, keep things entertained as the invites go out to the captains and the draft lobby gets set up here. No patch this week, so no immediate updates. Stitches is still banned due to that bug stemming from his hook in custom games. So we will not be seeing Stitches here in Towers of Doom. And yes, oh, you're welcome. Yes. So yeah, we got all sorts of stuff going on here. Lots of anticipation for Zool coming up next week. Lots of anticipation for some of the other balance features that are coming. We're going to be potentially seeing more Rhaegar retunes. We're probably going to be seeing some other changes. Nova is getting some more buffs to help sort of smooth out her recent rework, and we'll hopefully be seeing those next week.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it should be exciting. I mean, it's the first new specialist in a while now, right? I mean, who was our last specialist? I don't remember.
Aside from Lunara. Let's see. Our last specialist was probably am I thinking like as far back as Sylvanas? My brain ain't working right.
Yeah, I don't know actually. That sounds about right. I don't remember. I mean, we had Leoric, Butcher, not in that order, Karazim, Lunara somewhere in there.
Lunara, the best specialist in the game. I kid. But tonight, as you mentioned, we've got Rage Patrol and Shift Delete. Both teams are 1-1, so they're looking to push into the positive win rate column. Last week, we actually had the pleasure of casting Rage Patrol in their victory over Lester P. Beerson. So it's good to see them again, and we'll see how this goes. For them tonight.
Yeah, it should be exciting. So I guess both teams are 2-4. Is that correct?
Both teams are 1-1.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was preemptively
getting your head of yourself, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah, and it looks like last week Shift Delete fell against Globe Gluttony, but they also took a win against Lester P. Beerson's 2 weeks ago on February 8th. So, we're seeing some familiar faces, seeing some familiar names, and we'll see how things go. We'll see how things go tonight. Going to be top drafter relatively soon here. So, real quick, initial thoughts. Towers of Doom. What are we going to see? What are we not going to see? And how's the play going to unfold here tonight, Synth?
Well, that's interesting. I don't know. We'll see. This is one of the special maps where you can't attack the core directly. In fact, it's the only map that you can't attack the core directly ever. And so instead of doing that, it's very objective based. You have to get the towers that spawn every 90 seconds, it sounds like, or something around there. And it can be random. It could be 1, 2, or 3 towers. And you have to split your team accordingly to sort of do damage.
So does this favor an early game composition or a late game composition?
Well, personally, I love playing Abathur on it, and Abathur does do very well on this map, and you know, I think specialists are undervalued on this map personally, but
The recent
yeah.
the recent change to the Merc camps, I think I think that has not caught on just yet. I think a lot of people are still playing this map the way it was sort of a month ago, where it was just about the team fights in the altars. And I think we'll see, as more players adapt to the Merc camp change, a bigger value on that bottom lane and the bottom lane Merc camps, because you can see a lot of damage. I mean, three damage from a Merc camp is almost the same as a generic standard altar shot. So you see teams go full bore on these altars, and then just sort of ignore a Merc camp that goes in on their core. So we'll have to see. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're waiting on possibly one more person before we get things going here.
Yeah, it looks like there's a DC, so we're just gonna wait a little bit here. We have about 10 minutes, or not about. We have 10 minutes after the scheduled time before it's a DQ, but it should be okay, especially if it's just a minor technical issue. Hopefully, that's all it is.
So we brought up Abathur as one that's pretty good, and specialists in general as decent heroes on this map. I mean, I feel like anybody with a global presence is going to be contested on this map. You're gonna see, people contest the Falstad pick. You're gonna see Brightwing, not necessarily in the meta for healers, but my God, if she was, this would be her map. You're going to see. I think. Definitely.
Well, the thing about this map is it is also very small. I mean, Abathur, if he sits in middle, he can hit everywhere that anyone can
rotate through her. Yeah.
Yeah, can walk in. Actually, was the word. Yeah. So, that makes it a very, very beneficial for those slow-moving characters like Sergeant Hammer and Brightwing, and I mean, Falstad obviously has the global presence in his flight, but without that, he has no. I'm sorry. Sorry, I was dealing with something in the lobby here.
Looks like we're getting some things going here. In terms of the draft, Shift Elite has indicated that they're ready to go, so we are just waiting on Rage Patrol to get everything set up.
Yep. So yeah, the
big news coming out last week. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I'm so frustrated. Is Squirtle Squad, the infallible Squirtle Squad, was felled after picking Cho'Gall in a match. Absolutely crazy. I gotta watch that. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
they were riding high on, I think, a 6-0 win streak. No losses, and their first loss of the season comes off of a Cho'Gall pick.
Mm-hmm. So I think they had nothing to lose there, because if they won, they would have won because they were infallible, and if they lost, they would have lost because of the Cho'Gall pick. So
Cho'Gall is the ultimate scapegoat.
Clearly. I mean, there's two of them to blame, so.
Yeah, you can split it between the two players. You're right.
But yeah, we're still waiting for the fifth player on Rage Patrol's team here. So just
from just from glancing at it, because I haven't gone too far in depth with him yet. Who do you think's going to pair up effectively with Zul the Necromancer, our much awaited Diablo 2 Necromancer?
Well,
thoughts there?
Let me think. I know he's dot based, if I'm not mistaken, and he's melee range as well. So he's not a Lunara, luckily, but he is a specialist. So he has a lot of utility in terms of doing damage to buildings and minions. I feel, and he has a root. That was the other thing. Oh yeah, and he has a percentage based.
Yeah, he's got a couple of really interesting abilities. And one thing that I like so far is that I can't see too many that are like clearly this is the only talent you get to pick. There's no chain bomb where it's like, well, this is the talent I pick here. I want to see how he feels actually in the field with other players, but I like the potential for counterplay with the Bone Prison and like Cleanse. I'm seeing there's a vulnerability debuff available that you can talent into on the Bone Prison, which will be absolutely devastating with some of the other, pairing him with a burst-based character like Li Ming or Greymane or any of the other recent power assassins.
I'm more interested in the Rhaegar nerf that was just announced for Tuesday. He's getting his lightning shield, I believe it. Yeah, lightning shield nerfed, and by a significant amount at that. So
yeah, a couple of the talents are getting reworked, and his ancestral healing got a big nerf in terms of cooldown duration.
So that'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, we'll see less than a 99.3% win rate or pick rate in Hero League from him.
God. Let's drop him down just to like the low 80s. Low 80s.
I mean,
here.
I'd like to see a game without him. Let's put it that way. I mean,
likelihood of a Rhaegar ban in the first round. You put money on it, or would you not?
For here?
Yes.
I mean, it would be kind of foolish not to pick or take or address him at all. So, first round though, we've seen them not do it before. I mean, even the Swirl Squad team, they each got a top tier, Li Ming / Rhaegar.
They saw play.
Yeah, both of them saw play. That's exciting in itself. I don't think I've seen a Hero League game any game with bans.
Where
see both of them, yeah.
Both made it in. Nah, you typically will see, one of them get axed in the first round of bans. It's usually Rhaegar. I think if you ask people, especially after the removal of S of Johan, I think if you ask most people, they're still a little leery of Rhaegar. A little less.
A little
less timid around Li Ming. Yeah, I think Rhaegar is still in a place where he does too many things too effectively, and the fact that he fills a support slot means you've got even more damage on the board, whereas the Li Ming spot is going to be filled by another DPSer that might not be as effective as her, but is still going to be pretty darn effective. And then you're left with a support on that team, that Li Ming team, that isn't going to contribute as offensively as Rhaegar is. So, yeah, I mean, it's almost like having a fourth. It's almost like having a fourth assassin on your team.
Yeah, the extra damage is just it's so substantial, and it's very dangerous for anyone being chased by one, really, and really that's the problem. Is you can put it on a tank, you can put it on anyone who's chasing. You put it on Illidan, I mean, it hurts. The pain is real, and the damage is real, and the numbers show. So, really excited to see the nerfs to Rhaegar, because it just puts him in line with the rest of the heroes and makes him viable as the rest of the heroes.
I feel bad for the other supports. Like, what do you do? What do you do when like you're just not the guy that gets Rhaegar or the girl that gets Rhaegar? Like, shit. Like, now what do we do?
Yeah.
Look at all the other. You look at all the other support win rates on HOTS logs, and they're all in the garbage. Not because those heroes are necessarily underpowered, but because Rhaegar is literally that good.
Mm-hmm. So and the Nova buff actually should be interesting, because she felt a little neutered after the nerfs, and the slight buff just didn't quite put her in the same spot, or at least in as good of a spot as she was before. Obviously, the gathering power was a little bit overpowered, as one might imagine.
I personally like the Gathering Power interaction.
You think so?
I did actually. I don't even play Nova. I think I have like 4 games as Nova, and they were all from like ages
Oh
ago.
shit, we're on the draft. My bad.
We're on. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I was waiting for the person to join the lobby. That was my bad.
Went ahead without us. How rude. So we're going to dive right into this. First ban from Rage Patrol went to Thrall, and Shift Elite responded with a Rhaegar ban. So we did actually not see Rhaegar go through. Li Ming naturally picked up by Rage Patrol as a result. And Shift Elite responds with a Muradin first pick and Lunara second pick. So sustainability with that, lots of long-term damage. Hoping to proceed, manage through those altar fights.
Oh man, the Diablo ETC combo.
That's so deadly.
That is so good. Oh my god, they're like flying through this draft here.
I know, this is the fastest one I think we've ever seen. Uther is banned out immediately to prevent any crazy ETC
interaction,
divine mosh interactions. And neither team has picked a support yet, and we'll see what the other ban is from Rage Patrol, if they want to further limit the field of supports, or if they want to get rid of a specific.
Yeah. So that's interesting that they still picked Diablo ETC when Shift Elite picked up Lunara. Lunara does a ton of damage on tanks. I mean, it's really substantial, especially because of how frontline they are. She tends to do a number on the front line.
Sonya picked up, as well as Sylvanas. A lot of pushing power available with this team if they decide to go that route. Lieutenant Morales is picked up by Rage Patrol. Are they going to finish it off with an auto attacker like Raynor or Falstad, I wonder?
Yeah, they definitely need another damage dealer. Probably
Sergeant Hammer.
Okay.
Oh boy,
they're gonna do that. Okay. That is a very
Brightwing.
Brightwing. Oh my god. What is going on? Is that a misclick? No, I'm kidding.
No way. They heard me. They heard my words. So, all right. So we're seeing some real interesting stuff here. We've got a very vulnerable backline from Rage Patrol. If Sergeant Hammer or Li Ming is picked off, a substantial amount of damage is just taken away from them. Whereas Shift Elite has a fairly mobile force. Sylvanas has an escape. Sonya has her spear. Lunara, by default, just faster than every hero. Muradin with his jump, and Brightwing with her teleport. A lot of mobility from Shift Elite. And a lot of sustainability. If they can stretch the fight out, burn out that Morales mana, they're going to take fights, but they got to be cognizant of that Sergeant Hammer. It is just so hard to take fights underneath her radius.
Yep. And the Brightwing actually has a lot of defense against this stuff. I mean, the polymorph is one of the best CC abilities in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah. They've got 3 interrupts, at least readily available, with Muradin's Q, Sonya's Q, and Brightwing's polymorph. And we could see them take ultimates to further negate that mosh pit with a Sylvanas Wailing Arrow or a Sonya Leap if she goes that route. So here we go. We're getting things started here.
So, yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, the Wailing Arrow, you have to bait that out whenever. Yeah, that's the silence, right? Yeah, that's the silence. You have to bait that out before you mosh, because otherwise your mosh is canceled immediately. And even though it does interrupt everyone in the mosh, it's a canceled mosh is so devastating because it's 120-second cooldown. It's just so many resources, and your entire team has stopped whenever they hear that. It's almost like a Pavlov's interaction.
It's a global taunt when that mosh pit goes off. All eyes turn to ETC, and it's always feast or famine with those mosh pits. You either nail them or you don't. So we'll see how they're run here today.
Okay. So, do you want to introduce our
of course
fine folks here?
Yes. All right. So on our blue team on the left-hand side, playing for Team Rage Patrol, we have Nodbot on Li Ming, Neoclassic on Sergeant Hammer, Pandana on Lieutenant Morales, Mr. Meek on ETC, and I can never get this name right. Ipoil W. You got to tell me what that is, mate.
It's probably something backwards.
Yep, it probably is. On the red team, on the right-hand side, for Team Shift Elite, we have Helorin on Muradin, Zalaccio on Sonya, Jay Riccardi on Sylvanas, Dobby on Lunara, and Kyle's Cupcake on the Brightwing.
All right, and again, for those of you just joining us, tonight's map is Towers of Doom, and it is a very unique map in that you cannot damage the cores ever via the heroes, and it's always objectives that you have to take in order to do any damage to the cores.
All right, so in terms of talents, we're seeing some pretty solid talents from Rage Patrol. Power Hungry on the Li Ming. So she's looking to increase her ability damage shortly after grabbing in a regeneration globe. Interesting talent choice given the prolonged fights at altars. I want to see if this pays off for her. And we're seeing Advanced Artillery from Sergeant Hammer. Thoughts on that? Is that a decent talent pick for the Hammer?
Advanced Artillery is classic. It is probably, in my opinion, the best. Some people pick the stealth talent, but I personally don't see that very beneficial because that requires them to come to you rather than otherwise. It's very defensive, and I can definitely see its uses in certain situations, but on this map especially, the distance for the point defense is extremely beneficial.
On Shift Elite, again, very similar. We're seeing Reverberation, Warpaint, Lost Soul to reduce the Shadow Dagger cooldown. So potentially long-term, she's looking to maximize the dagger vulnerability that can apply. Yeah. And Lunara is taken down initially at the bottom here.
Getting really low there and has to back out. That fight was... Lunara was just trying to do a little too much damage there at the early state. But two altars coming up here as the first objective spawn, and I think Rage Patrol is actually in a better position for this, even though
they are. The Li Ming is gotta hustle because Brightwing is going to immediately be able to just get to whatever fight she needs to get to, and it does look like Rage Patrol has a solid command of the bottom altar, and they might just concede the top altar, unless Li Ming has something to say about it.
Yep.
Just misses the skill shot to interrupt, and yeah, it's a 1-for-1 trade on the altars.
Yeah, very safe trade. So, yeah, the Sergeant Hammer did a really good job on defending the transfer point there, and so, I'm sorry, Shift Elite. I keep having to refer to the team names there. Shift Elite could not go past that middle lane, or that bottom lane there, in order to get to the bottom spawn. So that really contributed to Rage Patrol taking the bottom objective, and Shift Elite taking the top one instead. Or middle one.
Tank on tank action in middle here. Sonya is going after the Merc camps.
Yep, and
taking focus attack at 4, so continuing to build just sort of a standard Sonya damage build. Curious if she's going to spend this much time merking, if she was interested in taking Mercenary Lord, but I like the focused attack. This is a good call.
Yeah. Brightwing holding her own against Li Ming at top. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, as long as she doesn't take too much damage in a single swing, she can just wait and heal herself up with her own passive ability. So not a bad idea. You know, that Li Ming could be put to use elsewhere, but Sonya's being sneaky in middle here and just lays the heat onto Diablo. He's able to pull back a little bit, but he's going to have to push back and potentially drink.
Yeah, Shift Elite doing a great job of pushing back the dangerous ETC Morales Sergeant Hammer combo there. You know, maintaining lane control there.
She gets polymorphed and Sonya jumps on her, half of her HP gone in a heartbeat.
But
both teams looks like they're moving to their respective altars, and this may just be another 1-for-1 trade unless somebody feels like picking a fight here.
Yeah, with Sergeant Hammer there, it's very dangerous to move in. I mean, Sergeant Hammer does so much damage with her AA, even before 10.
Verdin gets slapped and has to pull back there, but looks like another just 1-for-1 trade. Both teams just steadily chugging to 10.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Brightwing didn't even show up to that fight. She just kept laning.
So we're seeing very standard stuff from both teams. Battle momentum coming from Diablo, so he's going to be taking a more damage-focused, ability-focused build.
And Lunara too far forward again, and without an effective burst heal, she goes down.
Hypercooling engines on the siege tanks, so I think with the presence of a sergeant, with the presence of a Lieutenant Morales, definitely a worthwhile pick there because it does get you to those altars faster.
Yeah, it's better than the first aid in this case because you're always going to have the Morales near you, especially with this little pushing group at bottom here.
And Lunara taking Splintered Spear at 7 instead of the the other sort of fashionable choices. I like this idea. It helps with interrupting the altar spawns or when someone else is trying to cap them. Splintered Spear, when an auto attack hits, it splashes to 3 nearby enemies. So good way of interrupting things. Li Ming at top, waiting to pick
snipe,
this Sonya off. Diablo en route. This looks ugly. He's gonna stick on it, and Brightwing comes in to save the day. Li Ming has to hustle out, and Diablo might be next on the way out. Holy cow!
Yeah, that's quite a fight here. Oh my gosh!
Diablo goes down, and Li Ming might be next. Sonya is able to back out safely there, pick up a couple heals from the Brightwing. Excellent work from the Brightwing to come in and save their comrade there. That could have been a devastating gank if timed with this altar here.
And Brightwing really using her presence and her expose. She has this ability when she Z's, she will expose an area, and the sight is very, very important.
Yeah,
on this map.
Shift Elite hits 10, and we're seeing Avatar, Wrath of the Berserker, Wailing Arrow, Thornwood Vine, and Blink Heal coming out, and Rage Patrol just now hitting 10. Can they pick their ults in time for this fight?
Oh, the silence goes out in a very good spot there. And the ETC's...
Big Mosh, though. Huge
yeah.
Mosh. Catches 3, but no follow-up from the team. Is ETC able to get out?
Nope.
He does not get out.
Yeah, that was a
Hammer
great Mosh
also
to
picked off.
pull up to... buy them some time, but unfortunately, just not enough. The entire team was just way too low.
Yeah.
The Mosh into Apocalypse would have been extremely devastating in that, but unfortunately, Apocalypse was used pretty early during that fight. And
Rage Patrol's ults, we are seeing, as you mentioned, Apocalypse. We're seeing Disintegrate on the Li Ming, Napalm Strike on the Siege Tank, Stim Drone, and Mosh Pit. So, sort of bread and butter picks here. I like the choice for I like Apocalypse. I wonder if Lightning Breath would be potentially better to capitalize on the mosh pits. We already have sort of an engagement tool for these these blow up setups. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Yep. ETC taking a lot of damage on the front line there. In response to the tower being taken as well. Sergeant Hammer just trying to take down that tower as fast as possible.
All 5 members of Rage Patrol at bottom here, and that really gives Shift Elite the opportunity to push through mid, push at top. Murden's looking to move through some of these camps at top here, and yeah, slight edge to Shift Elite, and we'll see how they do. We'll see how they capitalize on this. They're close to 13, likely going to be hitting it first here. And Sonya goes in on the ETC near the middle altar spawn.
Yeah, that might be a bit of
stuck there.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake there, but the global presence again on the Brightwing coming in to try to save the day.
Brightwing is picked off by Diablo.
Oh, Stim goes down on the Sergeant Hammer, maybe a little bit early because the positioning's a little bit off, but
but now she can set things up.
Oh my gosh, this is so much damage from the Sergeant Hammer. Just loads and loads of damage there. It's devastating. Truly. And a single altar spawns here for at mid, so that should be a team fight coming up.
On her way down, sort of cut off from the rest of her team here, and yeah,
Li Ming's trying to desperately pull them into 13s. Sergeant Hammer a little bit out of position, but
she makes it to the fountain and is able to drink.
Yep. ETC a little bit out of position here on the front lines without any heals.
Oh,
and
he's got a serious issue. The Sonya Spear was already used, though, so he's got a safe way out.
So the objective was picked up there. No surprise. The rest of the team was just nowhere to be found. The ETC desperately doing a death mosh and failing to capitalize on any sort of response there.
Yeah, no kills. No kills with that. ETC still down for about 20 seconds. Both teams at 13 now, so some benefit there for Rage Patrol. All of Rage Patrol's ults are down currently, but are coming back up slowly, bit by bit.
And
whereas
a B-Walk
has all of their ults.
A B-Walk there to try to taunt the other team into attacking the Li Ming at mid. Li Ming's trying to take on 3 people here by herself, and
this ain't Li Ming from 2 weeks ago.
The early Apocalypse not really doing much there, but the stimmed, Sergeant Hammer,
Unbelievable.
so much damage. Oh my gosh. Just an literally unbelievable amount of damage. Taking down Sonya, Murden Avatar form, and Lunara, almost all of their HP there. Rage Patrol looking to capitalize a little bit on that advantage there, and picking up the Merc camp.
Sylvanas pushing top, this is going to be a real easy pickup for her. If she lays into this...
Li Ming a little bit out of position there, and she is going down.
Topped by the Brightwing and the Lunara. Sylvanas might get this keep if they don't rotate quick enough. Diablo's en route along with a posse of Lieutenant Morales and ETC. Are you going to make it?
Yeah, Sylvanas might not make it out of here, actually. Sonya coming in to save her life. Or her undeath?
Yeah. Yeah. What? How do you measure a zombie life? Oh, not that way. Morales is dead.
Morales not coming back as a zombie.
No.
Diablo going down as well, and really bad timing because both altars just spawned.
Spawned. Diablo's back up almost immediately, but Murden's able to cap the easy altar, and they're moving to capitalize on Rage Patrol's altar.
Some good positioning going on from both teams here, but unfortunately, Rage Patrol is just a little bit low, and the Mosh going out kind of early. Actually, that was...
The Mosh was interrupted.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Like I said, you have to bait out those silences, and that silence went out in response to the global taunt. That was Mosh.
Shift Elite working over the boss right now. Tapping it. That's a guaranteed 4 damage onto Rage Patrol's core.
And they also have the top left keep, so they're capping the Merc camp there, and they're probably going to try to escort it to the enemy line, which will do damage as well.
Certainly have the personnel to do so. Diablo just now coming up, and they're fresh. They've got most of their ults. Let's see if Rage Patrol can hold here.
Yeah, we'll see.
Mosh Pit is still active. It was interrupted last time, but it's back up.
Oh, it must have been interrupted before it went off.
So the Merc camp is brought down, and the bell tower is also subsequently brought down. So we're returning to sort of an even state here, while Shift Elite rotates back to find an advantage elsewhere.
Yeah, and even though like the levels are about even here, the core damage is not, and that's one of the weird parts about this particular map. If you don't get the objectives, you don't do damage.
A Brightwing nailed by a Li Ming hit. Almost brought down, but able to sneak out with the Sonya. Both heavily wounded, though.
Yeah, and they're going to push. They're a little bit of an advantage here. There's 15 seconds until the altar spawn, and they're just going to zone the other team out here. Rage Patrol's really just trying to keep the positioning right. But Sylvanas sneaking a camp there. Right before this particular engagement, and that's going to help them out a bit because it's just going to do some damage to the...
Sylvanas in the backfield here looking to latch onto somebody.
Yeah, but she's picked up...
It catches everyone out. Sonya has no stun. Oh, they get a ton of damage in, but ETC goes down.
Oh my gosh, that's so much damage. Oh, wow.
Oh, it's a full team wipe.
Wow.
Rage Patrol cracks them, but unfortunately the boss is still down for another 3 minutes.
So what do you do in this case? You just have to grab all of the merc camps, right?
Right now,
So
I think you gotta wait. Don't cap yet. Oh no. Right now, what you want to do is you want to get as many bell towers as you can. You want to, you want to crack that bottom tower. You want to crack that mid tower. You've got Sergeant Hammer on your team. You've got free damage on those towers.
yeah,
You get one, you get two, then you cap the altar and you maximize the damage that you can put down onto the opposing core.
and the tunnel is open, so there's some quick comebacks here.
Yeah. Go in, you go ham on one of these towers, you get hurt, you be out, and then you're right back into it with the tunnel open. A little bit of a misplay there from Rage Patrol. I feel like they won the team fight. They did it. They won the team fight handedly. I think their follow up could have been just a little bit more efficient.
And that's one of those things about this map is there is no push to core when you lose a team fight or when you win a team fight at 19 or 20.
Yeah,
And
that would have been one of those moments. We would have called this game a huge, they came back at the end off of the back of that killer mosh pit, but not on this map.
Yep. So everyone's back up on both teams here, and Rage Patrol trying to take as much as many of their objectives as they can, so that they can capitalize on this.
Rage Patrol has 20. Rage Patrol has 20, and they're going. We're seeing Lord of Terror, Temporal Flux to slow from the Li Ming, Nexus Fury naturally from the Sergeant Hammer, Caduceus Reactor on the Medic, and Death Metal on the ETC. I mean, he's noticed that they're focusing him down right after the mosh comes off. Level 20 reached by Shift Elite as well. We're seeing 2 stacks of the heart. We're seeing Ignore
Oh my gosh.
Ignore Pain.
Yeah, this is really dangerous for both teams. The positioning on
A lot of damage put onto the Brightwing.
yeah.
Oh, so close. Li Ming got overzealous, though. Overcommitted and is brought down.
Yeah. The positioning is so weird on this right now. We got the blue team on the right and the red team on the left.
Siege
But
Tank another ATC mosh, crushing it.
oh my gosh,
no.
so much damage from the stimmed ET or Sergeant Hammer here, and Sonya trying to
Sonya off too.
Yeah.
But Sonya's gonna have serious difficulty getting out, and indeed does. Sonya's down.
and that is three
You take
objectives.
you take one more keep here. You take a keep. Every shot does 5. I feel like you've got such a huge advantage here. Capping the altars that quickly is not. It's not the
best
ideal way
play,
to do this.
yeah.
Look at how fast these 4 will take down this middle keep here. They got that keep easily. You could easily cycle back to their own keep in the top lane or the top lane keep.
Oh, but
and
the boss is
then
up.
Then go for the altars.
Yeah, so they might take down this one and then go back to their own, and they might actually have enough time to get a few shots off because when you get all 6 altars here, you actually start doing damage every 7 seconds, I believe.
Yeah, a periodic, consistent, guaranteed damage to the core, and they're going to get a couple licks in. Like,
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
no way that Shift Elite is going to get that keep down in time. Maybe 1 or 2 shots are going to go their way and ping Shift Elite's core.
Yeah, you can see the damage starting to go already.
Just the one.
Just
but,
one? Okay.
Just the one, but it was there. And now there's a big advantage for Rage Patrol.
Yeah, they also just got the boss here. That was great timing on that.
Yeah, wow, they turned it around off those great mosh pits. Huge team fights.
Yeah, those mosh pits into the Li Ming alt. I mean, disintegrate.
They're really picking it up here. They're really gelling right now. The siege tank is getting the opportunity to set up. The ETC is getting the mosh pits that he needs. The Morales is keeping them up.
Look at that Nexus Frenzy plus plus the
Absolutely brutal. So now, Shift Elite is so far out of position. They're all in the top lane. They've got to make it all the way down to bot lane.
Oh, they'll have enough time. 15 seconds. Yeah.
Against a siege tank, though. Siege tank who has the opportunity to set up shop.
Oh, this is a great decision by them to take this fort.
There's no. They can get rid of the. They can get rid of the drink. They can get rid of the. Oh no!
Oh no!
Merton dives in. Sonya dives in.
Well, the mosh goes. Mosh
is polymorphed instantly.
Yep, that's interrupted. However, it will be back up in a few seconds here. That's assuming he
but
lives,
there's
though.
not enough HP.
Yeah.
Rage Patrol brought down a little too far forward, getting greedy with that tower. I feel like you set up shop on the you set up shop on the altar spawn. You've got bushes, you've got ETC, you've got siege tank, the best point defender in the game. Why go out into the open there? Tough.
Well, they haven't capped yet because they are actually going to do the strategy where they. Actually, no, they're going to cap it. They're going to be safe.
With some members of Rage Patrol coming back up, I think they felt pressured enough to just turn around and cap it. I mean, they only have 2 hit points left. Rage Patrol does. So
yeah, and 2 is you can win any objective because when you get 1, you start doing damage. The other team starts doing damage to you. So 2 means that you have 1 fort left, and that means they can.
Basically, any altar that Shift Elite can cap is a win. Ends the game for them. Like these next few altar spawns are going to be huge. Like if it's just single altar spawns, Rage Patrol is going to be breathing a sigh of relief. If it's a 3 altar spawn, they are going to freak out.
Yeah. And it's completely random, as far as I know.
Far forward. They're pushed a bit forward here.
Yeah, this is going to be a flank.
Party. Ooh, this is scary.
Yeah, this might be a flank for Rage Patrol here.
The stim pack was stunned. They did not go off from the siege tank. We're seeing APOC come out, catch a lot of Shift Elites. ETC's fishing. He does have a mosh up, and he catches a few. He goes down, and his level 20 talent does pop for that post-mortem dance party.
And the stim does finally go out on Sergeant Hammer, and that moving turret, bastion, if you will, is just annihilated and pushed back the entire team.
A 1-for-1 trade, but it is a worst-case scenario for Rage Patrol. 3 altars go up, and they only need to cap 1 altar.
And it's a 4-on-4, so it's unless they go 4-on-4 on 1 altar, it's
all they have to do is stack 4 people on 1 altar.
Yeah,
and
there's
like Li Ming's staying at bottom, a primary source of damage staying at bottom.
I completely disagree.
You want Brightwing at bottom.
Yeah.
Or Brightwing, sorry, on Rage Patrol, Shift Elite. My mistake.
Oh, yep. So this will be scary, but Sylvanas is grabbing it, and then this will be GG.
That's it. Oh man, so close.
Yeah, so close.
What a second win from Rage Patrol. Wow.
Absolutely. That was quite a comeback for Rage Patrol, getting the other team down to 3 health on the core. Quite an accomplishment, really. I mean, really well played there. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment, for real. So, great game. Wow. Any initial reaction here? Brightwing?
Brightwing, I was so glad to see Brightwing in this game, and Brightwing was used fairly effectively.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you look at it on paper, like, oh, she only had 68,000 healing, like, okay, but there were so many situations where, Shift Elite was pushing for a map, for map presence. Sonya, the clear recollection of Sonya at the top camp, trying to get those merc camps down, and Rage Patrol thinking, okay, we've got a freebie gank here. We're sending Diablo and Li Ming up, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, from the shadows comes Brightwing, and suddenly what had been an easy gank turns into a death for Diablo. So I was very, very, very happy to see Brightwing played effectively.
Yeah, and Peekaboo is that's the ability where when she Z's to teleport, she reveals a large area. That was phenomenal. I mean, it was it just gave them the sight to be able to angle their defense correctly, and information is key in this game. The more information you have, the better you can take your engagements, and it really showed on this map.
Gotta give it to that 1-2 punch that Rage Patrol made work several times. I mean, going in with Diablo and ETC, stunning the crap out of Shift Elite, and then following up with the Li Ming burst and Morales auto attacks with a stim drone.
Oh god, it was so frightening.
It was withering just watching that hammer just whittle people down and delete them.
Yeah, the Nexus Frenzy plus the so I personally love Hover Siege, even though the flavor of the month right now is gather, or what's the one that increases range? I forget the name of it.
Graduating range.
Graduating range. That's it. Yeah, that one is the flavor of the month. But with a stimmed Nexus Frenzy Sergeant Hammer, the hover siege is just so beneficial because you are not locked into your position. If they start escaping, you start moving. You start moving, and you can fire while you're moving. I mean, you are a mobile turret of doom. You are doing as much damage as a tower. I mean, it is frightening to be up against that, and you try to get out of that angry circle as fast as you can.
Look at the respect on Shift Elite for that ETC Mosh. We see Abolish Magic at 20 with the Lunara. We're seeing, all these stuns and slows being taken out to prevent that ETC Mosh, and he still made it work. Mm-hmm. ETC would not be denied. He got, I want to say, at least 2 absolutely money Moshes that brought his team back into the game.
Absolutely. I mean, those without those Moshes, the game would have been over. I mean,
probably about 3 or 4 minutes earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think the part where it kind of backfired on them was when they, by what margin did Rage Patrol lose? 3 points?
Yeah, 3. It was
now
3-0.
What happens if they get that team wipe? Remember, at the end of the game, they get the team wipe. They had 3 altars up, and they just immediately capped all 3 altars.
Mm-hmm.
You get that team wipe, and you kill 1 keep. You get those 3 altars. You actually won the game. So not capitalizing on that wipe. It was like a full 50-second, team wipe. It cost them the game. But you got to be cognizant of that when that happens. When you've got a huge edge, instead of pushing to core nowadays, on this map, it's not about pushing to core when you win the team wipe. It's about pushing down those structures and then securing your objectives. So it's real frustrating looking back that they lost by that small of a margin.
Yeah, I mean, it's you win by inches, not miles here sometimes. So great game though, absolutely. I mean, the Sylvanas silent push at top a couple of times. The
Brightwing versus Li Ming. Like, those two laned against each other for almost the entire early game. I was stunned.
Yeah, that was very impressive too. Just seeing Brightwing hold her own against Li Ming, the monstrous force that she is.
Yeah, so it was solid. The Muradin held well against the 2 tanks on Rage Patrol. Sonya with a lot of really solid jumps in to eliminate Li Ming, but oh man, I keep going back to that team wipe, dude. They had it. They had it in the bag.
They had 2 team wipes, if I remember correctly. They had
the second time they had it, and they just went straight to boss, which was the thing to do. I think they got boss, and then they got some towers, and gave themselves a really good footing. But there was that one engagement. They blew the whole team away. Was down, and I feel like they could have won it right there with, or at least really improved their chances of winning right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So again, great game from both teams. But we'll be taking a little break here. We'll be back around 6:30 Pacific time, which is 9:30 Eastern, which is about 40 minutes from now, something like that. Math.
Hey, I'm not the math guy here, man. I'm just here to do goofy jokes.
Okay. But yeah, so thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back in about 40 minutes.
Thank y'all.